Hi, this is Karen Latterell, and I'm here today to talk to you about the press intervention that you will be implementing in your classroom over the next couple of weeks. As you recall, we had a training in August, and I wanted to review a few things with you to make sure that you fully understand how things operate and how simple this process really is. So, the first question I know you probably have is, what is the purpose of press? Well, the purpose of press is to help us use data to determine specific need for students. When we determine specific student needs, we are able to target instruction to those specific needs. And when we target instruction to those specific needs, we increase student success and reduce their need for more intensive interventions. Now, if you look in your packet, you'll see that you have a yellow sheet marked Universal Screening Guiding Questions. I'd like it if you could pull that out and follow along in the steps. Step 1 asks you to review your data. You also have a data sheet for each of your classrooms, and I'd like you to notice that at the top of the data sheet, you have the 4 different assessment protocols that were administered to your students in kindergarten and first grade, and the 1 protocol that was administered in second grade. Please note that this data is sorted by one specific assessment and that information is marked in number 2 on your guiding questions document. For our example here, you can see that kindergarten is sorted by letter sound fluency. After you've had a quick check of the data, the next step is to determine the class median. In order to determine the class median, you first need to know the accurate number of students in your class. In all likelihood, you know that number off the top of your head, but if you want to double check and count, go ahead and do that now. Once you've determined the actual number of students in your class, you need to figure out the median. And so when you sort the students from lowest to highest score by the assessment listed in number 2, the median score will be that of the student who falls in the exact middle of your sorted roster. So if you look at my example on the screen, you'll note that I have 23 students. So that means 11 students are on one end of the chunk of students, and 11 students are in the top chunk of the students, and the 12th student is the median, right in the middle. So if you scan down letter sound fluency and go to the 12th student, that will be your median score. The next step is to compare your median score to the benchmark. So if you look down below, you can see that the benchmarks are listed for all of the tests that were given to your class. The one that we are particularly interested in is the benchmark score for the test that we sorted on. So make sure that you look at that. Once you've determined your median score and the actual benchmark for that assessment, I want you to compare the two. Now, if your median score falls below the expected benchmark, you should plan a class-wide intervention for 10 days because more than half of your students have a need for targeted instruction in that skill. Generally, if your students fall above, your median score falls above the benchmark, generally then you would go to Tier 2 and serve only the students who did not fall or land above the benchmark. However, since this is our first time together and we're practicing together and providing support, we would like you to plan a Tier 1 class-wide intervention regardless of where the median falls at this time. Now, some of you may be asking why we would deliver an intervention to a student that seems to be successful with the skill. Well, the reason we're doing that is because the research shows with this program that even the students above the benchmark will benefit from the intervention. So they will be successful as well, and they will also show growth. Now, I also want to point out that this is a class-wide intervention, so you should be serving all students. So remember to bring in your top students, remember to bring in your English language learner students, and remember to bring in your special ed students as well, because all of these students can benefit from the intervention. The next step in the process is to review the class-wide intervention decision-making sheet. This sheet can be found on page 7 of your press manual. And as you can notice here, it very clearly gives you, here is the assessment and what to do if you are above criterion or below criterion. So for this particular class, we used letter sound fluency and our median was below criterion. So what we would then do is we would do an intervention or letter sound fluency. But again, since we are doing this together as a team effort, we would like you to do phonemic awareness for the first time around. Now, if you want to narrow down your intervention a little bit more, the next thing you can do is go to page 7 of your press manual and look at the different types of interventions that are available for each of those skills. As you can see, there are 4 listed for class-wide options for phonemic awareness. So if I decided that I'd like to do PA 1 and 2, I would go to the phoneme isolation intervention under the phonemic awareness tab. If you'd like more help in how to narrow down your particular intervention, at the beginning of every single tab, you will find that there's a description of the actual intervention. It gives you the objective, what kind of materials you need, and when it is specific for use. So now that you know your students a little bit, you've spent several weeks with them, you probably have a much better idea of what their needs are related to this specific skill. So you can skim down the when to use column to determine what the particular intervention should be. Again, please note that the interventions with the asterisks next to them, those are meant for class-wide interventions. Finally, once you've determined the specific intervention that you're going to complete, you will plan your intervention. You feel free to use this form to help plan your intervention. The protocols are all listed in your press binder underneath the specific assessment or the specific skill tabs. Your start date for the intervention will be Monday, September 21st, and you will do a 10-day intervention, which will take you through Friday, October 2nd. Notice at the bottom of this sheet, it also mentions scheduling a fidelity check. I want to ensure for you that the fidelity check is simply meant to act as a way to help you bring this process into your classroom. Your instructional coach can help you with that, or you could call Denise Cody, or you could call me to come in to visit with a fidelity check. I may also be approaching some of you to request, please, that I be welcomed into your classroom to observe the process as well. You can also see here that there's, it mentions scheduling reassessment and scheduling an analysis meeting. If you look at the press monitoring, the press cycles that are in your calendar here in your binder, you'll notice that we have those scheduled throughout the year already. The green information or the green boxes on the calendar will be days that you will progress monitor, and then the yellow boxes are the days that you will PLC and discuss the information and decide next steps. Now, I know there will be some concern about progress monitoring, so I would like to address that. The progress monitoring will be done in the classroom. It will be done by you, and it will be only for one of the assessments. And those assessments generally run between 1 minute and 1.5 minutes. And so we've given you the 2 days to work with students over that time. Again, this is a process that we are all learning together, and I would really, really like to stress that we are very open to you working through the process and finding the way that it best fits for you. We want to ensure for you that we don't expect perfection and that we are all learning together and that we have that open mindset where we can make this a great program that helps to benefit our students and move them forward. If you have any questions, please feel free to call me. My extension is 8395. Thanks and good luck.